today we're talking about the importance of diversity and inclusivity in the creative space. We're talking about if this industry is diverse enough, which in my own opinion, I think it is. I mean, we have photographers, videographers, everybody, especially when you talk about Nigerians, everybody is a master of their craft. But the second question, which is, do we think they have equal opportunities?
It's a no for me. Because like you said, man no man, kelekbe megbe, just like Adekunle said, they'll tell you that there's a high class, there's a middle class, and there's low class, and there's classless class. So usually we used to hear about 3 classes, but now we have 4.
Classless class.
Yes. No, you think you are the class, but you don't even have a position when it comes to the class.
So now only in your mind now you think you're a class.
So because of that, you pass through other people that are better educated than him, pass better people that have a better experience than him or her, and give it to you. Please tell me, how do you, knowing carefully well that you are better than this person in this field, you are more experienced than this person in this field, how do you take orders from such person?
About coming through, and you know how it is. Surely, I intentionally left the glass on so that, I mean, sometimes you come in, make people know, say, even though they wear carve, the fashion still there, small. Yes, it's the Revive podcast again, and, you know, as always, we're here talking about things that, you know, could enlighten your mind, improve you as a person, a creative person, talk about the creative space. And sure, one of the things that we always do, if we're bringing a guest, it had to be top-notch. Today on, you get cornrow for corn economy. You know, so it's always a player, and you know, as usual, my name is Olaoluwa Sanmi. Yeah. Call me Baba, and you full grand, but. And then I have with me the one and only.
You know the vibe.
Okay.
Over there is here for you. Welcome to the Revive Podcast. Another segment, another time, another episode for you to learn, unlearn, get your onion right, and be the best version of yourself.
And yes, today we're going to talk about a very important topic, the way we do it. Sometimes we introduce the guest.
Yeah.
But because of the sort of way, the approach we're using today, we're going to ask a question. I'm going to answer the question. She's going to answer the question, and then we'll allow the guest introduce himself and then answer the question. You know how it is now. It's the Revive podcast. Everything that will revive your mind. So sometimes we guys come in. There's what they call the familiarity of the mind. So we guys, they come out in different fashion. Now you go to catch up with us. Get it? So today we're talking about the importance of diversity and inclusivity in the creative space. We're talking about if this industry is diverse enough, which in my own opinion, I think it is. I mean, we have photographers, videographers, everybody, especially when you talk about Nigerians, everybody is a master of their craft. But the second question, which is, do we think they have equal opportunities? I would say no. Because it's a man, no man industry and a dog eats dog industry. And I feel like a lot of the time, the opportunities are narrowed down to the point where even if you're good enough, if you don't know somebody, you're going to be the dog of somebody. Somebody's going to feast on your opportunities and your chances. And I feel like a lot of the time, we reduce the industry to a space where only very few people thrive, especially those who are on the mainstream. So which leaves us to this ideology that some other people at the back end would have to be begging for crumbs from some of these people. And I feel like it's not good, my own opinion. And Olamide, what do you think? Do you think the industry is diverse, and does it include everybody?
It's a no for me. Because like you said, man no man, kelekbe megbe, just like Adekunle said, they'll tell you that there's a high class, there's a middle class, and there's low class, and there's classless class. So usually we used to hear about 3 classes, but now we have 4.
Classless class.
Yes. No, you think you are the class, but you don't even have a position when it comes to the class.
So now only in your mind now you think you're a class, but in the industry you classless.
Don't. So there's sometimes that you don't even get an opportunity to express yourself, to give out what you have inside of you. Now you might get an opportunity. The the rich kids, right, they can get opportunities because their folks can just make a call and also just send a text. Because trust me, rich men don't call you. If you're a rich man they receive too much calls. Rich man, they always do SMS and they use touchlight phone. Emphasis on the touchlight phone. So if the rich people can connect each other, they connect their kids because that money, the wealth, whatever they have, the gold, the silver, the diamond, it's always in the circle. They never allow it out of the circle because generations unborn will be a part of it. So they don't want people who have no class, people who are middle class to come be a part of it because they feel that you will change narrative of how they live. So opportunities don't come to people who don't know anybody. So if you don't know anybody and you don't carve a niche for yourself, you never ever get an opportunity to be somewhere. Now, luck can come into play.
Yeah.
Luck can come into play.
Most of the time,
but
I think
so
that's
much
even,
energy.
That's even what plays.
So much
like
energy and being able to represent yourself. And I'm not saying defend yourself. To represent yourself is the only way for you to get
like crumbs.
Lights.
Yeah. and you know the annoying part is this. And now, a creative space is supposed to be about the talent of the creators. But the painful part is this. It's not longer about the talent. I've seen scenarios whereby a spot will be kept for somebody who is not matured enough for that space while they are grooming the person to take the position. I think it's sad because it just means that you've stopped you stop the process of the company itself. If there's like a creative director in a space, it means for as long as the person that they're grooming to take the position of that creative director is coming, that place will not be performed at the highest level. Do you get me? And I feel like that's sad, especially in a creative space where you need innovations, like constant innovation. But let's not dive too deep into it. Let's take this to our guests. I'm going to be asking you a question about this very space that you start with introducing yourself. Because why we allow people to introduce themselves is because I can't tell you about you than you. Do you get me? So
true that.
The best way you want to be introduced is the way you want to be called and all that. And that gives us the chance to engage you better. So please.
Welcome to The Revive.
Introduce yourself and then answer our question. Do you think the industry is diverse enough and inclusive at the same time? And do you think everybody enjoys the same opportunity?
First of all, thanks for having me. Thank you so much for having me. It's good to be here. Honestly, I've just been hearing back and forth. Anyways, I'm now after by the born for Lagos. My name is Raboni, a.k.a. Uncle Bros. It's not. You've both answered the question. Truly, it's not. Because I think the best way to answer this question, first of all, is I'll use federal characters. An example. First of all, you see a federal government parastatal where they say, oh, you come from this quota system. They want to try and appease everybody. At the end of the day, most times, it has a good side, it has a bad side.
Yeah.
You might end up not appeasing anybody at all. Because you're trying to appease, you want everybody to feel included one way or the other. Do you understand? But assuming somebody is leaving this particular position, the next person that has to get into that position has to come from a different location. So coming from that different location doesn't mean he is the best person for the job.
Yes.
Doesn't mean he's better qualified. Doesn't mean that he's more educated or anything. It's just because, oh, you're lucky to have come from that particular location.
Yeah.
So because of that, you pass through other people that are better educated than him, pass better people that have a better experience than him or her, and give it to you. Please tell me, how do you, knowing carefully well that you are better than this person in this field, you are more experienced than this person in this field, how do you take orders from such person? Some of those people, if you are not someone that can we swear here? Can we curse?
Yeah, I mean, this is not going on AIT, so...
All right, so if you're not that person that can eat ass or lick ass, people's asses, you end up retiring. That is, at the end of the day, you've lost better brains. You've lost experience hand. So it's people that can say, oh, yes, sir, that will remain. So is that company better for it or not? No. It isn't. And diversity, you've mentioned a couple of things in terms of the entertainment industry. One thing that I think is something that has been a bone of contention for me personally is the event of social media. Social media now, it's all about followers. So you see people that don't know anything about broadcasting, don't know anything about this, but because they have large following on social media. Because I've seen one too many, I'm like, what's this person doing on radio? What's this person doing on TV? But you check the person on social media, be it Instagram, X. Yeah, they say Twitter is now X. You check them out and you see 11 million followers or so, or 100 and something thousand followers, or 20 something thousand followers, 20 something K followers, and you're like, oh, okay, I understand why now. The person that has 1,005, the person that has 2,500 or less than 10,000 followers, does it mean that that person doesn't know his onions? It's just because I may not be a social media person. Doesn't mean I don't know what I'm doing. Somebody else may be social media conscious. And honestly, it doesn't take a lot for people to follow you these days. Come and say nonsense.
Yeah.
If you are a lady, open up your body
Post
and...
a nude.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah, sure.
If you are a lady, come out and open
Go, girl.
body, you know.
You can do it.
Girl power, right?
Go power. Girl power. Oh, she's been expressive. Yeah.
So she's comfortable in her body.
You
You understand?
Oh my good God.
You expose your body and you get following.
Is it not funny how we found good English to
represent
to sugarcoat this whole ideology of naughtiness and craziness?
Well, that's what it was going into.
So there was a lady I saw on social media. She's a lady, and then she says she doesn't feel comfortable in her skin, so she then became a transgender. And then after a while, because at the point when she posted this stuff, she was like 30 years. Now after she had scraped her breast and all that, she's now trying to regain her femininity. So she was blaming everybody who's seen her and supported her. Even though then she was young, she didn't know exactly what she was doing. But now you've gone through the process. The people who are doing go. Now they can. So she's now trying to go back and do breast plant and transplant or whatever, implants. And the question I'm asking is, the very people who are sharing her then, where are they now? And I think it's the same thing when you have a creative space. Somebody's not good enough, but because they've said a bunch of stupid things, now you're including these very people in movies, and now they're messing the character up. Now they're not good enough. Now, like you said, I've seen people who, because they are followers, now stations are trying to employ them.
Yeah, a lot. Funny enough.
And now these guys they don't even know exactly what it takes to handle a program. And you have people who are well trained for these things who don't have the opportunities. What, aside, the whole social media followers, which I think most of these stations needed attention, what other cause do you think was the reason why these opportunities are not the same for everybody?
Connection. It's big. I'm friends with you. Let's assume you work in a radio station right now. You know that I want to do this, and there's an opening in your radio station or in your TV station. You call me and say, Boni Alpha now. Opening deal. People in the public have not heard.
Yeah.
Oh no, you know what I'm talking about. Opening deal. Opening deal. Then okay, I'm gonna apply. Sharp. Maybe now you be even programs director.
Maybe now you go even approve the
Baba, now you be programs director. At the end of the day, now maybe your guy. You don't already call me. So before people come outside, people outside even know that there's an opening. Say it has already been taken.
Yes. Some of those things, for me, I feel like when they get people who don't really understand the rudiments of being a broadcaster, they get to a point because they can pull in. Most people do it for the adverts. So when they get those celebrities on radio, the rate card for that time
increases.
They call it the peak hour because the celebrity is talking.
That's right.
A 7 million followers, somebody is talking. A 2 million follower on YouTube is talking. Right? And the soul celebrity have got a fan base, right? So they tell you that the price you can make 5 naira from 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. But that person coming on from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. you're going to pay 1 million. That's 5 naira to 1 million.
So that means the same with the OAP, even though he or she is professional. Excuse me. Even though he or she is professional, but because you are not, you don't have a lot of followers, it means the fee you are going to be paid is going to be lesser than the person handling the peak hour.
I think
See,
where I come from,
if we
depending
come
on
up-
the contract you have.
See, if we talk about pay right now, no, come on for
No,
you.
no, come on for you.
If we talk about
I know
pay
about that
today,
one.
Hey.
I know it. I know it. It's right in front of my eye. So let's not talk about it. Let's let it be. Let's just move it one
Let's
side.
leave that one.
Let's leave that one and go back to the
Because
conversation.
you can't talk about opportunities without talking about the pay. Do you get me? Because I feel like at the end of the day, what's an opportunity if it doesn't bring meal to your table? What's an opportunity if it doesn't give you this sort of...
They only just prioritize that particular person.
That's what I'm saying. So, which means if the brands are coming in, they pitch the brands to the celebrity first, which means the person, even though he or she is not professional enough, but because he or she has followers, you are going to give the bulk of the big brands, you are going to introduce him as your best OAP and all that. Not because he or she is professional, but because...
The radio sometimes, all those radios, I think they don't even go out for self-branding. They don't brand themselves like, they don't sell themselves.
Yeah, they sell
just need a
OAP.
tool. They need a tool
It's all
to
about
sell
the
the
numbers.
market.
Do you understand?
And the numbers are going up.
It's all about the numbers.
So, which is why now that some people get to buy followers.
That has become a thing.
Yeah, because if you're... See, I've understood that there are two principles to life. There's the principle of life designed by God and governed by nature. That one is free for everybody. You know, they stress anybody.
Right.
There's no principle to it. Plant your seed, rain will beat time, whatever, it will grow. But there is the one designed by man and governed by man. It thrives on validation, and because it thrives on validation, that's why it could be falsified in a way. Because if I need your approval, excuse me, if I need your signature, your approval, and I don't know you, but I need your approval, bro, I could as well go forge your signature. I don't need you.
I mean, we're talking about somebody that forged something. I mean, no, it's a conversation right now.
It's a truth. As long as it thrives on validation by humans. So if you're saying that it's the numbers that you're running after another professional, I could as well go buy followers. It's that simple.
That's why it has become a thing. You see somebody that has 30-something thousand followers. Check their likes. 29 likes.
How you go get 5 million followers and you go to get 10 likes?
Like, they don't get that tab in everything.
Do you get me?
And now the owners of the social media apps, you pay for it.
No, the funny thing is, people,
pay to get
most of these
verified and all of it.
apps don't even know about it. People that are hackers who do this stuff for them. But what I'm saying is this. I think we are shifting professionality because of the ideology of followership. I think a lot of the time we water, just like the example you gave, somebody came into the space. The people in the space knew that this guy is not good enough, so they can't do yes sir to the person or yes ma to the person. So because of that, because you've spent so much time to gather this knowledge, to become this professional, only for you now, somebody tell you to come and bow to somebody who is lesser intelligent, who is less intelligent. That means you are not comfortable in that space, so you leave.
Of course.
It remains those who can do yes or yes.
Exactly.
Which means what they've done is reduce the creativity or narrow down, reduce
it down.
Do you get me? Watered it down. Which I feel like a lot of the time, that's why people are less productive. That's why people are, they're even less confident. Because the ones who are going to be doing yes or yes man, excuse me, people are going to be doing yes or yes man. It just shows in a way that they're not going to be themselves. They're going to they're not confident in their skin. People could use that narrative.
Basically, for that now, it's just people have realized that, we're in a world where to get what you want is, nobody is asking how you got it.
Exactly.
There's, the end justifies the means.
Yeah.
So if I want this and I know that this is how I will be able to get it, why not get it, regardless of whether it's the right way or the wrong way. I mean, we're talking of people that are looking, they call 419ers now, we call them hustlers.
Hustlers.
I mean, you're a hustler. The person they thief money, they call them hustler. I mean, that's where we are right now. So we celebrate things like this. We don't celebrate the journey. We don't celebrate integrity anymore.
Yeah.
We celebrate people that have money. You don't celebrate the guy that, he is not willing to cut corners. He's not willing to do this. He's not willing to do that.
He or she just wants to do it the right way.
Yeah, he just wants, it is the right way or no way at all. Do you understand? So, but this is the era we're in now. So
I think one of the reasons why
corners.
people always cut corners is because of peer pressure and not understanding who you are as an individual.
Yes, I agree so, but sometimes it's also the the societal prayer, because there's an expectation that comes after you got into a level in life. If you graduate, 2 years after graduation, your siblings start to ask you for money.
True that.
Now, they don't know if you're working or not. Your parents start to ask questions, what are you doing with your life? Now, you get to a certain age, they don't know if you have money or not, they tell you to go and marry. It becomes a tradition where they tell you, bro, no worry, God could do it.
It's a cycle now, because I can bet that when you were in school, you did the same thing to people that were above you. I did the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, when the day it dawned on me, like, we don't become those brosses when they say when they ask for money that way. The way it dawned on me, like, because one or two people don't come, Bonnie, bros, now they'll come greet you, make go bros. Then before you hear IDB, then it dawned on me, like, oh, okay. The same thing that I used to do
when you were small
is the same thing that's happening right now.
Yeah.
Do you understand me? And for the marriage thing that you just mentioned, like this, it's like when you finish primary school, the society expects you to enter secondary school. Whether you want to or not.
Whether you sabi book or not.
The next thing in line is secondary school. Then when you finish secondary school is how far? Choti ko jam, how the days you sit in your
Yeah,
have you written jam?
Have
you written jam? What thing you get for
Which
jam?
school?
Which school? Then if you have not gotten to the school the first year, the second year, the third year,
you start to think.
you start wondering why. That is why you now see people going to write special centers, because the society is expecting a particular thing from them, so they have to
Even
deliver.
at some point, you feel less of yourself because now you feel like you're all your mates.
That's the thing now. It's like because everybody has a talent.
But suppose you feel like you're living for somebody.
It is what it is.
Before you can even feel like you're living for somebody, you have to come to a certain level of self-awareness. Before you now know, I've not been running my race. I have a friend who...
You need to be strong-willed.
Yeah, I have a friend who, he has had 2 carryovers, 2 extra years. I think it was the 3rd extra year. Then one day he was crying. And it then dawned on him. It was because at that moment he realized that he was going to have the 3rd extra year. It then dawned on him that he had never been interested in science. It was peer pressure that got him to, join the science class. And then at some point he told his dad that he wanted to be a doctor. The dad laughed at him, and then he also wanted to prove the dad wrong. Do you get me? So he went all the way. Now, eventually they didn't give him medicine. They gave him chemistry. And then he struggled all the way to the final year. And then he had 2 extra years. Now, what I'm saying is, what he now realized was, from when he was small, he had always paid attention to accounting. So his dad had a fishery, a fish pond business. He said even though he was small and he was in primary school, when they come to buy the fish, he would take the pen and be putting it down, tailoring, how much they buy. Even though he was doing it but his mind was always pressing towards business. And he realized that, remember that when he got into university, one of the things that he did by the side was business, and he was thriving. So from that moment, he then started to do, business admin and all that. And he was also putting his stories in books, going to schools to talk about it. Now, the beautiful thing was, while he was doing the things that he loved, he then passed the exam in chemistry. And that's how the mind works. Sometimes it's not even about what will enable you solve a problem is not that you have to pay attention to the problem. Sometimes just do what you're doing, what you love doing, and somehow your mind will figure out how to, get.
Right,
so
a
lot of the time, just like what we're saying, but we're going to have to, move away from, I think we're deviating too much. Let's talk about you in a creative space where we know the front runners, the artists. I feel like a lot of the time I see OAPs as people who are doing a lot of work. You go to the stations and spend the bulk of your time promoting artists that you might never meet for the rest of your life. And some of them will never respect you. Some of them would never say thank you.
True.
Some of them, because they were not the one that gave you the song, it was probably the manager or somebody. When you meet them in person, they let you know, what are you doing for me? But so I feel like a lot of the time you'll have gotten to that space where you meet somebody who you've helped, but then look down on you. How did you take it? Because what we do on this space, what we do on this space is we talk about the mind, the creative minds, how the prayers we go through, how we, relieve ourselves of this prayer, how we, So we need to know exactly, how did you feel?
Okay, so
if you've ever been in that station.
So I'm going to put something out there for you now. I do the morning show on radio. You have artists.
Show.
Yeah, exactly. It is. So you have artists you have upcoming artists that come through, and they come through and you promote their songs.
Don't call them upcoming.
No, I mean
emerging.
Emerging artists. So they come through, you promote their songs, you promote them, you hype them. And you know, the era we are in now is one song can blow you.
Yeah.
It's not like the era of them P-Square selling
what
their
you
albums.
have to do.
Yeah, you have to have an entire catalog and sell the album and start going up to Alaba and signing deals like,
deals and all
okay, 1,000 copies, 50,000 copies. With streaming platforms now, one artist can blow. I mean, we're talking of Sheyi Vibes having over 1 billion streams on Audiomack.
Have you seen the way Charlie Poppin is popping?
Bro, it's popping. I played the songs before I even got here. Do you understand? Everybody. So those kind of people like this now, the fame comes so fast that they tend to forget your help.
Yeah.
There's some of those people that will still chat you up on maybe on Twitter or
Preach,
on
preach.
Instagram like, boss alpha and I get this song, boss alpha and I get this song. They say, okay, after they don't disturb you for quite some time, okay, send me the song. Then you listen to the song, like, okay. Then you now meet your librarian, Chief Alpha and I, you see the song, go, makes sense. Can we play it? Then they play it. Before you know it, it starts catching waves. Then they start going on tours. I mean, nobody's going to remember that it was Raboni that... Yeah. I mean, some do. For those that do, you appreciate them and you say, okay, this person remembers one or two things. This person is an appreciative person. But many a times, not just my story now. I mean, I've been in the industry for almost a decade. So I'm not speaking out of hearsay alone. I've experienced it. I've also heard people, other people's stories. So people that they were literally begging you before. All of a sudden, you see them at parties, because we'll always meet. You meet at one event or the other. You meet them at events and you are greeting them like you know them. Yeah. And they're answering you like they're seeing you for the first time.
Sometimes they don't even answer. It would be as if the team would even try to push you away.
Honestly, you almost be like you need to book an appointment to even get
some of them
are
bouncers, they even bounce.
Do you understand?
Like, I don't know you.
Then secondly, another aspect of this thing I'm going to talk about is, like for me, I do pidgin radio. I don't know where this ideology came from that pidgin OAPs are not educated.
Yeah.
We go school. We go school. I don't know which one with my camera now. We go school. You understand me? We go school. And there's this mentality that, oh, you're a pidgin OAP, you can't do things English related. So they only come to you for pidgin stuff. I mean, I didn't start speaking pidgin until I was in uni.
Wow.
I didn't start speaking pidgin because I'm from the South, Delta to be precise. I remember back then when my cousins would come from Delta and they're coming for holidays in my house, and my dad would say, please don't speak pidgin, we don't speak pidgin in this house.
Wow.
When I started speaking pidgin it was too shocking. It was too shocking. He couldn't fathom, he couldn't understand, like, how did we get to this point where in as much as I prevented this from happening, it still came down to this. So you understand? So that mentality that pidgin OAPs are not as educated, they're not as exposed. Please cancel that.
It's the same thing. It's the way the mind works. It's the way the mind of humans work. We live by emulation, and then most of the time function from perspectives. So which means if I've seen you, with your cornrows and everything, I've seen you like this for a long while, I have that image in my head. And I've reduced your person to that. So if in my mind I believe, naughty people did like this, I will attach you directly to that thought in my head. And I feel like a lot of the time, just like what you said, people forget the fact that broken English is also a language, is a means of communication. But they feel like because you've gone to school and you were not taught with this language, they feel like anybody will be saying no go school, now they speak. So a lot of the time they look, which was why, I'm even happy that I even asked the question. Because a lot of the time, some people would meet you. They know that you're an OAP. They know the belt you probably, you take, and they know that you're a very strong person in that very station. But because it's not pidgin radio, you go see how they go follow you relate.
Trust me,
and you see somebody who is with another station, who is not as big as you are. The station is not as big as your station. But then they go see the Twitter, how far now, but they say, how far now you did. Like, how do you take these things?
So, first, I think the first time I experienced this, you feel some type of way.
Yeah.
You feel sad. You're like, what's in this up? But at some point, when you've seen it one too many times, you don't dwell on it again. You just build yourself and like, oh, you're not paying my bills now.
Yeah.
You're not feeding me. You're not doing anything for me. So you move on and you try to build yourself better. You try to do more for yourself. You understand, and try to put yourself out there more. You understand. So, but if you let that get into you and you let that affect your growth, then you don't lose guard. You understand? And in Warrior, they talk say lose guard now. When if you lose guard, a person go win you, because if you lose guard, you give somebody else an opportunity to get that opportunity that you're supposed to get. Do you understand? So at the end of the day, you need to. It's like life generally. You can't make everybody happy.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So no matter what thing you do, person go talk. Whiskey talking for this song with Ice Prince. Them no go let you drink water, drop cup. So no matter what it is you do, person go still talk.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So I mean, just do you. And
So in your place of work, like workspace, like some challenges that comes when, let's just say, the head of programs, head of this one, director, like this favorite person who's going to be the only person who gets to do this, to do that. How do you feel when you find yourself in that kind of situation in the place of work?
you have to be professional about it one way or the other, because I mean, we're in Nigeria where this is okay. Let me put it this way now. We're in the age where when it suits you, it's connection. When it doesn't, it's corruption. That's Nigeria for you. When it suits you, that is the gospel truth. When it suits you, is connection.
When it doesn't,
it's corruption, because you don't know how it feels until you're on the other side.
Yeah, true.
You don't know. You don't know, because when it's happening to you, you're getting the gigs, you're getting this, you're getting all this. Like for me, I started with English radio before I got into Pidgin radio, and I started with the afternoon belt, which is a belt where not as many people hear you compared to the morning or the evening show. Then from there I went to the evening before I came to the morning. So I've seen it all. Do you understand? I've seen it all. So at the end of the day, you just be professional about it. You let your professionalism speak for you. Do you understand? Because it's not about what they want. It's about the produce. So the people outside, you can't be bamboozled. When you hear the produce and you're like, okay, only you won't go decipher and say, okay, this guy's happy past this one.
Yeah.
This one's happy. Why they can't they? Only you go to ask the question with the outside.
So with what you said now, how do you, in those spaces where you know, say, okay, I will let my professionalism speak for me, but until that time, what do you do to create opportunities for yourself? Because I feel like we live in a world where it takes a longer time when you're waiting for it.
No, don't wait.
Exactly.
Don't wait.
So how do you create opportunities for yourself?
I'm going to quote what I call him my mentor when it comes to the media space, Ike Osakiodua.
Okay.
He will tell you, no matter what it is, let your work speak for you. Do you understand? So when people don't feel like you're good enough, or when people don't feel like you're worthy of this particular position, show them in your work. Let your work speak for you. So at the end of the day, I remember when I was doing the afternoon shift and I didn't know I wanted the morning shift, or I didn't know I wanted a better shift. Let your work speak for you. Do you understand? So build your work to the point where people now hear you and know that you are good enough for this. So even if that opportunity doesn't come in the brand you're currently working with,
it could come outside
somewhere else.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Because it's not... I remember when I went for one of his IK talks, I was with another radio station back then, not in Lagos, and it was saying, no matter how crappy your brand is, a crappy brand is better than no brand at all. Do you understand? A crappy brand is better than no brand at all, because in that crappy brand, somebody is listening to you. Somebody is hearing you. Do you understand? So if somebody is listening to you in that crappy brand, it means that there's still a better chance for you to get somewhere else. And as crappy as that brand, I thought it was crappy, because, you know, the way some government officials do things, if you want to open a Twitter page like this, like say all the directors will need to sign first before they go open them. They want to make a little change, everybody needs to sign to it. It was that crappy brand that got me where I am today. Because, funny enough, it was the brand on my CV. I thought, oh, okay, I've been here before. Maybe I will know this person. And that's how your CV stands out. That's how something stands out. Then at the end of the day, sometimes, because, you know, as we talk about you having to know some certain people to get to a particular height, some other times your work speaks for you. Do you understand? At the end of the day, your work can't lie.
Yeah.
Your work can't lie. If they put somebody that is not meant to be there because the person is not good enough, after a while, they will see how that thing is suffering, because at the end of the day, it's the numbers. So if the numbers is not looking good, they will have to make changes.
Yeah, true.
Do you understand? You can force the horse to a stream, but you won't force it to drink water. So you can force the person there, but what if the person, you can't give what you don't have. If the person can't deliver enough, it will be evident, it will be very obvious. Even the deaf will hear it.
Yeah.
The blind will see it. But when you're good, no matter the space you are in, I'm a big NBA fan, so maybe I'll give an NBA reference here. So you have people you have varieties of coaches. Even in a football game, in a football match, you have variety of coaches. You can probably have a goalkeeper coach, you have a defensive coach, you have an attacking coach. It's like that in the NBA and the NFL as well. So you have those coaches, and at the end of the day, those particular coaches like this, you see them, you don't know who is going to be a good coach later on, but somebody that is in the video room can end up being the head coach because they hear some of the things he says from what he sees.
Yeah.
So at some point in time, if you are listening well enough, you can tell, you give that person the opportunity after a while. If you don't, somebody else will give the person the opportunity.
Absolutely.
And at the end of the day, you will regret not giving the person the opportunity.
You know, one thing about it is, because we are colleagues, we're on the same field.
You can relate.
I can relate to every word that it's been saying. But there's something I want to ask, you know.
Right.
Relationship, we have different kinds of relationship.
Yeah.
There's a brotherhood relationship, sisterhood, siblings, family, extended family. There's work relationship. There's workationship. Now, when you are feeling really terrible with your mood and everything, and you have to work, like for me, when it comes to work,
I was going to ask that question.
when it comes to work, I might be pissed in the morning because I work in the evening. I might be pissed in the morning, and afternoon I'm still pissed. Evening I'm still here to find a solution to my problems. And I walk out, and I'm getting to work. Once I get to the entrance of the gates, I throw that problem there. You want to know why? Because the listeners should not feel my problem.
Exactly, which was what I was going, let me just add, she said it. Okay. I'm just going to add a bit to what she said. How do you cope knowing fully well that if I have a 3-hour program, it's almost like a lonely ride all through? Because you're there alone in the studio. Sometimes you're going to be the one playing the song, speaking, and you're not even sure if somebody is listening.
So let me put it, I'll start with what you said. This has happened to me of recent 3 years. I lost my dad 3 years ago. Before I lost him, there was a time he fell into stroke. Then I was on a night shift. My co-host then was on leave. So I left and I went to Louth to go and see him. You know what it did to see your father
in a very
stroke, in a terrible state? I went, I saw him, I cried, and I went back to the studio. And you have to act as if nothing
happened.
You don't bring your baggages, you don't, emotions, all the, whatever it is. Your wife, if you're married, your wife has offended, you guys have quarreled in the morning. I mean, once you're getting to the studio, you put the quarrel, you put whatever it is, put it outside the studio. And I think that was the day I realized that I'm a professional. Like you try. Because I saw my dad in that state. I came back on radio and I did the 5-hour shift till the end.
Wow.
Finished it, continued my tears after on my way home. Got back home thinking about it. The next day I came again, I did the same thing. I lost my dad. I was told to resume 3 days after.
Wow.
I resumed 3 days after. I'm an only child, so my father was like my sibling. My mom is my sibling. Do you understand? I resumed the show after, and I was talking as if, oh no, nothing really happened. Wow. But in every ride, to and fro, there was tears.
I mean, being the only child.
But in the studio, I mean, if you've listened to my show before, you know that I'm an upbeat person.
Upbeat,
like, I'm a very upbeat person. Maybe if you've not listened, maybe you should listen.
But what's your advice for emerging broadcast journalists? Because me, I have never ever called myself an OAP. Because OAPs are people who are just on the surface. There is no ground training, nothing. You just want to just talk already because you look so good, you have the connection, you have a good voice, blah, blah, blah. No. So what's your advice for emerging up-and-coming broadcast journalists who is trying to find their way into the industry professionally?
One thing, don't sleep your way through it. You can't maintain it. Don't sleep your way through it. I mean, I don't know which gender I'm talking to.
Did you get that part?
Yeah, it means you have to keep doing something, right?
No.
Don't sleep your way through it.
Okay.
Don't sleep your way to the position.
Don't sleep your
my
way.
God, oh my
Don't.
God.
Be male or
I
female.
think
Be
it was because of the deities. That's why my mind could not
What
catch.
deity?
This is a holy day for me.
My brother.
God.
See, don't sleep your way through it. Don't.
And I feel like 60%, 70% will.
My brother. No, my mouth. No, my mouth. You go here.
No, my mouth, you go there, man.
Let's see. For me, my kind of person is this. Sometimes I'm not confrontational. I don't want to be because I don't like issues and all that. I don't want it to arise. But I always know something. Sometimes there have to be spots where you have to say the truth. You have to say the way it is. I feel like in the creative space, we allow too many things which are not normal. Bringing a girl to set, not because she's good enough, but because she don't rub your palm or she don't rub your belly or your manhood, whatever. Now you're bringing her to set.
It's not just even in the creative industry.
All
it happens
industries.
In the banks. It happens in many
You know, when you talk about this kind of conversation, there is one that's been up on a particular medium where they celebrate us, I must say. And I say kudos to them for celebrating us. Called the Radio Cast. There's a story from a state where there's a sex scandal at the radio station for position, and it's been on for a while now. So that's just it. Like it's something. It's not about the media.
That's the one that has gotten out. The one that has not gotten out.
We don't even know.
Way more.
You do get me? So that's how it works. Like it's been there.
And so the same way when we talk about diversity, it means that for instance, some genders will get more of this job than the other genders.
Absolutely.
Except you meet somebody who wants you the way you
and understand what you have to offer.
See, so when you have like a boss, you understand, you have a boss or you have a programs director, or you have a head of station that knows his onions and knows it is not about if your Barcelona is as big as this center table here, or your Chelsea or your Manchester, or what do they call it now, is as big as this here, like a cupboard. It's not by that. It's what can you produce. What is the output of what you have? And if you have somebody like that is more about the output rather than you, I think you should value that person. Because that person will be instrumental in your growth.
Shout out to
that person will be very
shout out to Raboni. Intelligently letting all the cat out of the bag.
I believe that I feel like one of the things that makes this very podcast something I look forward to is sometimes you have a topic, but because we bring in intelligent people like you, sometimes you have to dive deep into a lot of things, which is why it's a podcast.
Exactly.
You know, we dive into a lot of things and then we talk about it. And a lot of the time, sometimes I'm asking myself, do we have to go? Like, do we have to wrap up to get? And I feel like that was what we just did today. We touched on a lot of things, touched on, the creative space, diversity, some of the dramas happening in this creative space and all that. And we're going to wrap up very soon, but I want to ask this very question before we leave. Let's assume, people like Dotun FM became a brand in that very space where you are. But that's one out of thousands. But I feel like, just like, because the story was, it started in Cool FM, then started as a dancer, then became an OAP, then became Olamide's hype man. But becoming Olamide's hype man, I think it opened him to more opportunity, exposed him more. And then he took that, became an hype man at events.
Yes.
And at some point, he told Cool FM that he wanted a space for himself. So I think they created a space for him, which it now looked like where he could bring top stars and celebrities. I feel like, is it possible, just like what you're saying, people look down on Pigeon, is it possible to be able to create a brand like that?
Of course, Nido has done that.
Yeah, true.
Nido has done that.
True. I think Nido even had...
Yo has done that.
Yeah.
You understand? It's very possible, but it takes... See, this is one thing. I think this is a good thing. I'm going to say this. At the end of the day, if you check these people, it took time.
Yeah.
That's the problem that we have these days. You just want to come into the industry and make it immediately. I told you I've almost a decade in this industry. If you ask those guys how long, some
of
the
them-
stories I heard from Dotson back then were, it was like a studio rat growing, like
Yeah.
always wanting to be there, you know. It took him a while before he got to that position, but now patience is not a virtue that we have anymore. We want to hit it, we want to hit the ground running, we want to, as we're coming into the industry, we want to be known. Like for me, when I started in my training, I didn't do journalism, I didn't do mass communication. I didn't do any of those. I had to get like almost a 6 months training first of all. I now became like a studio rat, like, oh, I'm like your PA, or I'm like your understudy, like your intern.
Yeah.
I interned under a few people for a couple of years before I even got my first chance at speaking on the microphone.
Wow.
But some people now, you just come in and you want to air the morning show tomorrow. You know, they work like that. Now, there's steps to these things. It's a gradual process.
Oops.
Shout out to you.
You know, we can't the one thing about this conversation is if we go deeper, we're going to open so many wounds. I don't believe in shaking tables. I believe when you open wounds, people will feel the pain that comes with it.
Yeah,
but
it's allowed because see, I believe, which is why I'm happy that some of our content is not. I mean, we might still get there, but it's not yet on major TV. So there's some things that we're allowed to say. We say nobody go, because I feel like some of these things need to be talked about.
Yeah.
See, the beauty of having a podcast session like this is because it creates awareness. Some people are in this. Some people are in this situation, but they are not aware of it. And somehow, you know that something is wrong, but you don't know exactly how to explain what is wrong. So when you come in contact with somebody who can help you comprehend what you're thinking,
absolutely,
it's easier for you to now put these things in words and engage people with it. That man will be saying they always ask me to date him. I don't think that thing is right.
you see,
Of course.
that's just it.
Okay.
So all of this being said, I'd advise you if an aspiring OAP, aspiring journalist, aspiring radio producer, aspiring studio engineer, I'd advise you to listen to this podcast, watch it with so much rapid attention. Because trust me, you get every detail on how to move. Like you said, don't sleep your way through.
Very
Walk
important.
your way through.
That's right.
Because most times, at the end of the day, can you stay consistent? Now, for you to be a broadcast journalist, can you do the morning shifts? Can you do the afternoon shifts? Can you do the evening shifts? If you can do those three in the space of 2-3 years, trust me, you're a professional. Because it takes a lot of energy to work morning, afternoon, and evening. Olamide is my name. I'm a broadcast journalist, and I can do all three.
I beg you,
Thank
calm down. You just want to show yourself. I can do all three.
I
I
mean,
can
if you
do all
don't,
three now.
if you don't play your piano, go
I tell
I
you.
can do all three. Everyone is my name.
Alright,
Everyone is
yeah.
my name. So there's this thing that we do to wrap up the show. We do like, we'd pick a question, she would pick, I'll read it, and then you'd answer the question.
Wow.
They are not always tough questions because
Why do I feel like I'm about
Because
to
you
be set
answered
up?
the last episode, you answered
Why do I
straight
look
up.
like I'm
No,
about
no,
to be
no,
set
no.
up?
no,
Yeah.
They're not set up
worry,
here.
don't worry.
Okay.
Our producer is a very mild person.
Hey, I would not agree to
I
that.
don't want to say I don't want to say soft. I want to say mild.
I cannot attest to that because
I know.
see, almost all the questions that they asked me from
Producer
these
is
books,
always
I know
cool
you get
like
that.
the
But one
weather.
time when you say Sabian like that, I call them out. I don't care.
Gang,
All
gang,
right.
gang, gang.
Drum roll.
Okay.
Oh,
What was this
Chipabi.
now? Okay, so name 4 days of the week that begins with the letter T.
Days of the week
Yes.
that begins with the letter
Letter
T.
T.
I feel like I want to answer it logically, but I feel like this.
Yeah, answer it the way you want to answer.
You know, that kind of thing. Because it feels too direct. But then again, there's just Tuesday and Thursday that has a T.
Yeah.
Tuesday, Thursday,
Is
Monday.
that your final answer?
You said name, read the question again.
Name 4 days of the week that begins with the letter T. You know, it feels like you feel like a king when you're the one reading the question and then you have the answer. So, Ebuka, what's the name of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? And they feel like say, Oga, that all those kind I way they always look like say you sabi everything. Because I'm feeling like a king now because I can see the answers here.
Are there options?
No. I'm sure.
4
Wow.
days of the week that has a T.
Yeah, you mentioned Tuesday, you mentioned Thursday.
Abu, you
then-
don't stress yourself for.
Because I'm not thinking about it. Every other day doesn't have a T now.
Yes.
Turn up Friday.
All right. So, do you want to try?
Saturday.
Monday, Tuesday.
Saturday
is one
starts
of-
with S now.
No, he said, oh, that starts with T. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I thought you meant that has a T inside.
Tuesdays, Thursdays, turn up Fridays. That's Sunday.
You see how? So guys, the answer is this.
Because you can see it.
Tuesday, Thursday,
Tomorrow.
there is
Today.
You see life. You see life.
This guy
When I
is
started-
busting my brain. Stop playing, stop playing.
You see what I'm
Stop
saying?
playing, stop playing.
It just pain me say you get down because I still won't use the answer sure.
Man, so all my effort was in vain. Tumba, Sunday. Turn up
If I say
Friday.
na that Tungba, go make it a pick up. Say today they now, tomorrow they. Shout out to everybody who joined us today. My name is Olamide Sonmi.
And also shout out to people behind the cameras.
That's right.
And yeah, we've had a fantastic session talking to Raboni. It's a pleasure talking to you because I feel like, I think one of the things that happened today was how we were quiet listening to you, because the words your words came with so much depth, and then and I feel like it touched everybody. And so I want to thank you so
Thank you
much
very much for having me.
joining
Much
us.
Thank you for coming
Thank
to
you
the
so
Revive
much for joining.
podcast.
Much
And
appreciated.
Give out your social handles.
All right, you can
move.
check me up on Instagram, Raboni007, RABONY007. Or you just type Uncle Bros, you find it there. Uncle Bros, you find it there. On Twitter, that is X, Raboni, RABONY. That's it.
Yeah, shout out to you. My name is Olamide Sonmi, and you can follow Revive Visuals on Twitter. It's Revive Visual, on YouTube Revive Visuals, on Facebook Revive Visuals. And you know how we do it. We bring you the best. Omidon, you want to say something for?
All right, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for watching. Trust me, don't do this alone. Watch with somebody.
Yes.
So we can all learn, so that we can all grow together. Because you go get one stage, when you go ask for urgent 2K, they go block you.
Yeah. If you never do anything for me, if you never do anything for me, what you asking for urgent 2K, I go ask you, which bank you say I get money? You don't see money. Because if you didn't do anything for me, why would you ask me?
Of course.
Producer, Odabo.
No. When we talk about this thing. Okay, Odabo,
Peace.
no wala. Shout out to everybody.